Nachi free.
Pope Francis versus Donald Trump. Ding, ding, ding. I think I'm a little late to this political gossip party, but that's the beauty of YouTube. Nobody gives a shit. Now, for anyone not familiar with what happened, the other day, the Pope was in Mexico driving around his little Pope-mobile, kissing babies on the forehead like a career politician. And considering Donald Trump's immigration stance about getting Mexico to pay for the wall, they asked the Pope what he thought about Donald Trump. According to my favorite news talk show, Morning Joe on MSNBC, which I watch religiously to get my news from before regurgitating it back on my own YouTube channel, their theory is that the Pope was being used to make Donald Trump look bad. And instead of washing his hands like Pontius Pilate, the Pope took the bait like a Jewfish. That's not an anti-Semitic joke, by the way. I am very pro-Israel. Okay, and later on in this video, I'm going to poke fun at the Ayatollah Khamenei just to prove my point. Now, granted, the Pope was asked for his opinion, and he's entitled to it, as feeble-minded as it may be. And so he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, something about Donald Trump not being a real Christian because real Christians don't build walls, they build bridges. And in the Pope's case, they also make excuses for pedophile priests, and they gladly smile and shake hands with murderous dictators like Raul Castro, while completely ignoring political dissidents who were promised to speak with him before they got their asses beat down right in front of his eyes. As he continued driving off, waving his hand because he was probably in a rush to go perform an exorcism in Old Havana. Look, I know this is not really a news story, but I'm going to take it upon myself to turn this non-event into a self-indulgent tirade where I'm going to hurl a series of blasphemous obscenities because this is the perfect opportunity to trash talk religion and politics at the same time. The two subjects my mother warned me never to talk about in public.
Nachi, por Dios, ni se te ocurra insultar al Papa.
Oye, mami, no me hagas eso, ¿ok? Porque si hay alguien, en mi opinión, que representa la mentira e hipocresía más grande de este mundo, después del Ayatollah Khamenei, es el Papa, ¿ok? Me cago en ellos dos y me cago en Dios.
Pero Nachi, mira, si tú quieres hablar porquería detrás de la gente, habla toda la mierda que tú quieras del cretino ese Donald Trump, que ese sí no sirve para nada. Por lo menos vota por Marco Rubio.
Nah, yo no voy a votar por él. Okay, él nunca va a legalizar la marihuana. Y ten cuidado lo que digas del Donald, okay, porque si él termina siendo presidente, voy a hacer que él nos exilie de nuevo para Cuba.
Eso porque no me gusta hablar de la política y la religión. Me largo de aquí.
Well, the hell with that. I'm going to continue to shoot my mouth off. Look, I'm going to assume that the Pope is actually a nice guy. I'm pretty sure he's a decent human being, okay? But the reason why I feel compelled to make this video, aside from being a narcissistic egomaniac, is not because I think the Pope is a child molester per se, but because he hasn't done anything substantial considering his supposed power about the hundreds, if not thousands, of proven child molestation charges committed by certain Catholic clergy. There's a really good article I found, which I've left in the link down below in the little description box, about how many of the victims feel that the Pope has failed them. Granted, it's from the New York Times, so you could take it with a grain of salt. And that's the thing that pisses me off about Pope Francis. It's the willful ignorance and glorified superstition that he continues to peddle on a global scale. Here's a guy who has the power to speak to billions of people, okay, on this planet. And look, it's beyond wishful thinking on my part to think that he's going to say something like, look, let me be honest with you. God is not real and he never was, okay? Every single religion is false, although some are more toxic than others. Just ask the Ayatollah Khamenei. But who am I to judge? No, instead, he blathers out insipid inanities like capitalism being the devil's dung. Because in his mind, socialism is the answer. Like that hasn't already worked wonders in Venezuela, Cuba, and other countries that most Americans don't give a shit about until their spring break vacation. Really? Capitalism is the devil's dung? Are you sure it's not the engine of prosperity that has lifted millions of people out of poverty, more so than the vapid, empty answers and spiritual garbage that you preach from your Pope-mobile? Let alone your anti-birth control message that you spew to millions of people that aren't ready to have children? Nah, go ahead, shit them out. Yeah, make sure they go to our church every Sunday and leave something on the collection plate after beating their chest and say, por mi culpa, por mi culpa, por mi gran culpa. Ugh, spare me that never-ending guilt trip. And that's why I side with Donald Trump, because he understands capitalism and exploits every single one of its loopholes. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm a fan, though he kind of scares me. If I were still religious, I'd swear he was the Antichrist. And not just because of his parade of trophy wives or his stance on immigration or his whole, you're a loser because I'm a winner so you're fired bullshit. No, what scares me are his seemingly vague answers to complex problems. Solutions like, trust me, I know people, okay? I'll take care of it, no problem, just shut up, we're gonna win big time. Look, I know that's a terrible Donald Trump impression, but if he becomes president, I'll work on it. Right? But I love the fact that the Pope said that Donald's not really a Christian. In my useless opinion, that's a good thing. That's why I love Donald Trump. Because there isn't a single hair of self-righteousness or sanctimony in that unruly mop of his. I also love the fact that the Donald can't even quote the Bible correctly. The first time they asked him to quote his favorite passage, he was like thrown for a loop. But he's quick on his feet because this guy knows how to play the media like a fiddle. So his answer was, and I'm paraphrasing again, yeah, there's too many good ones to choose from. Amazing. It is truly an amazing grace how this man manages to skirt around the issue while almost dropping his pants in front of an audience. But no, the media would not let it go. They're like, nah, that's not a good enough answer. No, we're going to get down to the bottom of this one. All right? Because the liberal and the conservative media outlets want to drag, both of them, they want to drag this man straight to hell. So they insisted, they're like, no, Donald, no, you got to give us one, just one. Pick one Bible passage, okay? Just one, go ahead. And he was like, all right, 2 Corinthians, goddamn. Now look, I grew up Catholic, so I'm not very familiar with the Bible. But I believe it's not 2 Corinthians. I think it's 2 Corinthians and 3 Corinthians and 4 Corinthians and blah, 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 blah. And I love that. I love it that he was like trying to set up a joke. It was like, yeah, well, 2 Corinthians and a rabbi walk into a whorehouse. That's nowhere near any of my Trump casinos or golf courses, I might add, okay? I like to keep things classy. I love how he's been shamelessly promoting his brand throughout his whole campaign. It doesn't matter if he's in the middle of a debate or talking foreign policy. Fuck it. Trump. The man lives up to his name. He just keeps trumping all over the polls. And speaking of pole dancing and whorehouses, when are we going to finally legalize prostitution in this country? Can you imagine that? Trump whorehouses? Sorry, let's keep it classy. Trump brothels. Now that would be glorious, and they could serve little mints at the front door. But let me not get sidetracked, okay? My point is this. The Pope has zero moral authority to tell a self-made billionaire man of God like Donald Trump that he's not a Christian because when it comes to immigration, instead of building bridges, he'd rather build walls. Yeah, like the ones that surround the Pope's palatial mini-country known as the Vatican and its own curiously convenient immigration policies throughout history. Now, Donald Trump doesn't need me to defend him, but since I don't want my passport revoked if he becomes president, I would like to say in his defense, let he who is without sin, or much less he who has not minimized the systematic rape of children, cast the first stone. By the way, for anyone out there who wants to call me out on my own bullshit or rip me a new asshole, feel free to post a comment down below. And hit like for the hell of it. And please, no death threats, okay? And thanks for watching.
Homegrown.